I get it when a friend asks whether they should drop a few $100 on a new external drive. The first thing they worry about is whether it'll actually make their workflow smoother or just sit in a drawer collecting dust. I've been in that spot more than once, juggling raw footage on a laptop that can't keep up and wondering if a bigger, faster SSD will finally let me edit on the go without the dreaded wait for file transfer nightmare. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's break down the Samsung T9 portable SSD 4TB and see if it lives up to the hype, or if you'd be better off spending that cash on something else. First off, the T9 isn't just another USB stick. It's built around Samsung's VNAND technology and a USB 3.2 Gen 22 interface, which translates to read and write speeds that can touch the 2 GB per second mark under ideal conditions. In real life, that means you can pull a 4K video file off the drive and start editing within a couple of seconds, instead of the minute plus you'd get with a typical external HDD. I tried it on a MacBook Pro with the Thunderbolt-compatible USB-C port, and the transfer of a 150 GB project folder took just under a minute. That speed is the kind of thing that actually saves you time when you're moving between a desktop studio and a coffee shop editing session. But speed isn't the only thing that matters, especially for creative professionals who treat their storage as a lifeline. The T9's 4 TB capacity is a sweet spot for people who shoot a lot of raw footage or maintain a massive library of high-resolution assets. If you're a YouTuber who records in 4K or a photographer who shoots 50 MP raw files, you can comfortably keep a full month's worth of content on one portable drive without having to constantly shuffle files back to a larger NAS. The drive also supports Samsung's Magicia software, which runs in the background and automatically tunes the SSD for the best performance based on how you use it. I left the app on while I was editing, and it didn't pop up any annoying prompts, just quietly kept the drive operating at its sweet spot. Now, let's talk about the day-to-day reality of carrying the T9 around. The enclosure is compact enough to slip into a messenger bag, and Samsung claims it can survive drops from up to 3 meters. In practice, I dropped it from waist height onto a concrete floor during a quick changeover on a shoot, and there was no visible dent and no data loss. That drop resistance is reassuring for anyone who frequently moves between locations, but it's not a free pass to treat the drive like a brick. The metal case still feels a bit slippery, so I added a rubber sleeve for extra grip, something worth considering if you're constantly pulling it out of pockets. Who should consider this SSD? If you're a content creator who needs to edit directly from an external drive, especially on a laptop that doesn't have a lot of internal storage, the T9's speed and capacity make a tangible difference. It's also a solid choice for anyone who works with large CAD files, 3D renders, or game development assets where load times can bottleneck productivity. The drive's Mac compatibility is a plus, because many creators still run Mac OS for its color grading tools. For freelancers who travel between client sites, the combination of high transfer rates, decent physical resilience, and the Magicia optimization means you can reliably plug in and get to work without a long warm-up period. On the flip side, the T9 isn't the best fit for a few scenarios. If you're just looking for a cheap backup solution for documents, photos, or small video clips, you'll likely find a less expensive HDD or a lower capacity SSD that meets your needs without the premium price tag. Also, if your primary workflow already lives on a fast internal SSD and you only need occasional overflow storage, the extra speed of the T9 may be overkill. For gamers who want a portable library for console titles, the drive's USB-C connection works, but you'll need an adapter for older consoles, and the price per gigabyte is higher than many external HDDs marketed for that purpose. One practical weakness that's easy to overlook until you actually need it is the power draw. The T9 pulls its power directly from the USB port, which is great for a cable-free setup, but on some older laptops the USB-C port can't deliver enough wattage for sustained peak performance. In those cases, you'll notice a slight dip in transfer speed after a few minutes of heavy copying. The workaround is to use a powered USB hub, which adds a bit of bulk to an otherwise sleek solution. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be aware of if your workstation has limited power delivery. Another subtle trade-off is the lack of a hardware encryption chip. Samsung's Magicia software does offer software-based encryption, but for professionals who